And welcome to this week's episode of the UFO Show on the Area 51 Sports Network, brought to you by Bet99Sportsbook.com at Bet99.com. Make sure to head over to Area51SportsNetwork.com/betting, where on that site, up to $600 you put in, you get that matched in a bonus on initial deposit with the website. So make sure to check out that link on the Area 51 Sports Network for all your betting needs. So this week we do have a special guest. First off, Andy is going to be joining us in a couple moments. So his computer is just turning on, but we do have a special guest to talk a little bit about basketball. You may know him as the one of the hosts of Van Slam on the Area 51 Sports Network, Joshua Griffith. How are you doing today?
Adam, I'm there. Adam, I'm doing fantastic. Good to hear that Andy's going to be joining us. Thanks so much for having me on to talk some hoops.
So why don't we jump right into basketball right off the bat, because we do have a couple games today that are starting in about an hour. And so we're going to preface this by saying that the betting is going to get very, very complicated very quickly, because it seems like every day a new player goes on the COVID shelf. There are postponed games. So what we're using is we're using the best information that we have about which players are going to play and which players are not going to play. So just keep that in mind when you're making your bets. But yeah, Andy, how are you doing today?
Good. Just had a great nap on the couch. Sorry about that.
All good. So let's jump right in here with the Milwaukee Bucks at Dallas Mavericks, not Denver Mavericks. So Milwaukee's favored at minus 150. Dallas is at plus 130. How much do you give a chance to Dallas without Luka Doncic in the lineup?
Well, normally without Luka Doncic in the lineup, I'd be a little bit hesitant to do anything with the Dallas Mavericks. But since Giannis is out for the Bucks, still dealing with Dante DiVincenzo, was looking to make his return last game against Houston, but didn't end up getting in. So it's kind of anyone's game here, but for the money that they were getting at plus 130 for Dallas, I'm taking that all day. I'm loving that because you still got Kristaps Porzingis, right?
I was going to say I like Dallas just simply because I think they have the bigger big man matchup with Giannis out.
And then Porzingis has been a better player, it seems, without Luka in the lineup for some reason. Like every time that they try and run the offense through Porzingis with Luka there, Luka's just like an odd man out. He's almost like, okay, well, it's like we'll run the ISO with 3 seconds left in the game, but there's 12 minutes left in the first quarter. So I like Porzingis better without Luka in the lineup if I'm going to go for Dallas.
And Dallas just signed 30-year-old Brandon Knight, right, to I guess watch over the position while Luka is gone.
Yes, these 10-day contracts. I am absolutely loving all of them.
Boston bringing back Joe Johnson after he hasn't played in the NBA in 3 years.
And the funny thing, I haven't looked into to what the other gentleman's going to make, but I think Joe Johnson is going to end up making in these 10 days something like $200,000.
Sounds like a nice paycheck.
Not bad, right? And he's got like a career earnings of $220 million.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's it. I think he's made like $100 million more than Steve Nash.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this then. How angry do you think the NBA is right now with the fact that Luka got put into COVID protocol 2 days before Christmas?
Well, you can say the same thing about Milwaukee, right? With Giannis, is he going to be back? If you notice, the NBA shortened their COVID protocols from 10 days down to 6 days, kind of in line with what the NFL's done. You can get the double test, you can get out quicker. So they're hoping to get some of these stars back, but a Christmas Day matchup without Luka, Christmas Day matchup without Giannis, the NBA is scrambling hard, and you're seeing it with these 10-day contracts that they're letting everybody sign.
And then you have the whole Brooklyn Nets situation.
What Brooklyn Nets situation? Because you could probably pick one or two different ones. They have 11 players in protocol right now. As soon as they allowed Kyrie Irving back to play and said, okay, we're going to drop him in for away games, he gets COVID. Surprise, surprise. Well, he's unvaccinated. And he's one of the guys on the list, but looks like James Harden is good to go. So
1-on-5?
Yeah. One on 5. I mean, I thought they'd be okay with, just the 8 players against the Orlando Magic. But Christmas Day might be something else against the Lakers. It looks like they're going to have enough players to play. From what I'm hearing, James Harden is going to travel. They'll have 8 or 9 against the Lakers in the Christmas Day game. Well, fingers crossed, it will go off.
So let's jump back to today. Charlotte versus Denver. Denver at -145, Charlotte at +125. I don't think there are big COVID concerns with this game. But I think that, as much of an upcoming team as Charlotte is, Denver is, I feel, the better team, at least right now.
Oh, yeah. Denver's the much better team. And they're probably having, at 15-15, like a season they would be disappointed in so far. Donovan Mitchell has been fantastic for them, but they're just trying to find their footing. It's not really going to be affected. Charlotte's been good in the East. The East's been up and down right now. But for this one, I'm definitely taking the Nuggets at home with that spread.
Okay, so we got some big money games, I'll call it, if you want to take the upset here. So we got OKC and at Phoenix. OKC is at +900. Phoenix is at -1600. Then you got the Timberwolves and the Jazz. Timberwolves +900. Jazz at -1600. Is that just leave them alone? Don't even go there.
I love OKC. If you listen to the last episode of the Van Slam, Andy, you asked the question, I think, what teams that we're buying on for futures. And OKC was one of them that I picked because I love Josh Giddey. Shout out to the Adelaide Zoo and everything Australia. And I just love how much picks they have. And I think they're going to look good in the future. But Phoenix Suns, they're probably one of the only teams in the NBA that are like on a winning streak right now. They've won 4 in a row. I'm not touching anything against the Phoenix Suns. If you want to throw down a lot of money and, take a little bit, I would say throw some money on Phoenix because they're just playing fantastic right now. And they haven't really been decimated by COVID like a lot of the other teams have.
And then Utah is like, it's the team that nobody seems to care about, yet they just they're one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, but it seems like that every year with Utah, though, right? Like every year, Utah's at the top of the table of the standings in the Western Conference, and nobody cares unless Rudy Gobert is touching microphones left, right, and center. Nobody wants anything to do with Utah. With this one, the Timberwolves have been playing decent basketball coming off a loss to the Mavericks. But again, this is one of those ones I'm not really wanting to touch it, especially at those numbers.
Now, do you foresee that this is Karl Anthony Towns last year in Minnesota or last couple games?
Oh, I don't think so. No. You hear the speculation every week about big superstars, about Bradley Beal, about Ben Simmons, about Dame Lillard getting traded. I think this is the same thing. I don't see him going anywhere. Minnesota, they're not going to want to lose him, despite maybe some of his off-court issues or the things he's have to deal with. I think they're gonna keep him because he's a centerpiece. Like he's somebody that you build your team around.
Yeah, and there's not a lot of teams that you think of that like. It seems like a lot of teams are set with their big men. So unless you want to do like a center power forward combo where both are centers, you're not going to really find a team that needs him too much.
No.
I'm sure that
100%.
I'm sure that Toronto might need him because they don't really have too many big men, but they're playing more small ball, so that would completely change their play style.
I don't really know what Toronto's playing right now. Like they were playing kind of a defensive style to start the season when they had all the injuries to, Siakam and waiting for him to get back. Now they seem to have everybody healthy besides COVID, but they've seemed to lost their identity and it's gone away from a defensive game. And it almost seems like they're looking for that superstar again. Like they're waiting for either Siakam or Fred VanVleet to be like, okay, I'm going to drop 35, 40 points consistently every other game to help us out. But they don't have that. And they've gone away from their defensive game. They've dropped drastically in defensive efficiency in the NBA. And it's a weird time in Toronto. So I don't know if Karl Anthony Towns would he'd be a great fit at center, because they do need a big man, but is that just going to be another option that wants to be the superstar in Toronto, or is he going to add and contribute to them finding their identity as a team and finding that flow? And I really just don't think that is a good fit for them.
Okay, let's jump over here to Memphis at Golden State. Golden State minus 225, Memphis at plus 190. John Morant is playing, correct?
I believe so.
Okay, so
let me just check. Yeah, Zaire Williams is the only player for Memphis on the protocol list, so I haven't heard any injuries about Ja, so I believe he is in. Yes.
Okay, well, so with Ja Morant, do you see this game as like a game that Memphis can win?
I do. This is one of the ones that you're not getting too much value at plus 190, and obviously the odds makers at Bet 99 know what they're doing, because I think this is one of those letdown games for Golden State. They lost to Toronto. They came back with a nice win against Sacramento, but it's Sacramento. And I think this is one of those games that could really be a letdown for them as they kind of look forward to a Christmas Day game.
So why don't we jump to the last game on the NBA docket for tonight, the San Antonio Spurs at LA Lakers. We got LA at minus 120, San Antonio at plus 100. This is really a flip 'em game where, they're not too confident that the Lakers are going to win. So who are you taking here?
I am taking the Lakers at minus 360 for the plus 10 win. That's what I like in this one. What I'm looking at it. Not like in the, like you said, it's a pick'em game. Not like in the over under. I mean, I would take the over for sure. But I like the Lakers to win by 10 in this one. Anthony Davis is obviously out. Street clothes. Makes sense. But the Lakers have been struggling a little bit, but I like what they have to offer, and especially against this Spurs side.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do one futures bet. Who's going to win the Eastern Conference this year? So who is going to represent the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals?
Do you have odds for me?
Yes, I do.
Okay, perfect. I was going to say, can I find them on bet99.net?
.com.
Is it .com?
Yes. So we got Brooklyn Nets at plus 127, Milwaukee Bucks at plus 310, Miami Heat at plus 660, the 76ers at plus 1,100, and we have your Toronto Raptors at plus 4,400. So any of those teams interesting, or are you going off the board?
What do you have what are the Bulls at? If that's the top, what are the Bulls at?
Plus 1,200.
Oh. And then what were the 76ers at again? Because I think they were a little bit better than that.
Plus 1,100.
No, I'm taking Chicago all day. I'm taking Chicago. DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Lonzo Ball. Like it's been a melding that you didn't think was going to happen, but they've been playing some really good basketball. I think just with everything that's going to happen in the East, it's a very crowded, a team can go on a 3-game, 4-game winning streak and move from 10th or 11th in the East up to 3rd or 4th. But I think that Chicago kind of set the tone. DeMar DeRozan's playing at like an all-star level. And I'm going to go with Chicago as my futures for the East. I think Brooklyn's going to struggle a little bit. I think with Kyrie only playing, every other game on the road, if the state allows it, whatever garbage that is, like great message, NBA. Like, then he gets COVID right away. No, I'm going Chicago all day in the East.
Andy, what do you think? Are you buying into the Chicago hype?
You know what? I don't know a ton about basketball. Plus 1,200 is pretty good odds. I also kind of like Miami at plus 660. I think Miami's a little bit better of a team, and it's still 6.5 to 1, so it's pretty good to me.
Yeah, and I like Miami as well, but just at 660, Miami's a team that's expected to do that. Kyle Lowry, once they get a little bit healthier, Kyle Lowry is basically the only one playing for that team. But you got Jimmy Buckets, and they're expected to do that. The Chicago rise kind of came out of nowhere. And I think the odds makers are thinking that it's not sustainable. But looking at the team and how they're playing, I think it is really sustainable.
So you're saying don't put money on the plus 44,900 Detroit Pistons, correct?
Oh, for what? Like 5 more wins?
To win the East.
Oh, no. If it's Detroit to win 5 more games, maybe we'll talk about it.
Josh, you're so negative. They could get hot, okay? You're so negative.
Detroit's terrible. You know what? It's funny because I love watching Detroit because you got fade for Cade, right? They faded for Cade, and they got him, and he's an amazing player to watch, but they have nothing. I love their coach. I love Dwayne Casey, but sorry, Detroit. I mean, you'll be lucky to get in double-digit wins. Can you bet for double-digit wins for Detroit?
No, unfortunately not.
Too bad.
So we're gonna do 3 NBA games, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about World Juniors to finish up here, because this is our last show before the tournament does start. San Francisco, Tennessee tonight, 5:20. San Francisco at minus 175. Tennessee at plus 155. I think that's a fair line since Ryan Tannehill has as many, he has as many touchdown passes as Derrick Henry does in the last 7 weeks. And Derrick Henry has played, 2 of those games or something?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
Derek
sounds
Henry.
about right.
So is this a 49ers win?
You know, I think I took Tennessee at work. I like the way Tennessee can control the ball. I still don't trust the quarterback play of the 49ers, no matter who they have in there. Tennessee is still very much in a playoff race, whereas San Francisco, I think, is starting.
Oh, Andy has disappeared.
Well, that's good because his take was terrible. Because San Francisco's sitting in like what I believe the 7th wild card spot, right behind New Orleans Saints, and San Francisco's been super hot. Tennessee's on the other end's just been kind of faltering. So no, I would take San Francisco on this one all day, and I would hammer the under, even though you're not going to win any money unless you like put up a lot of money. But I'd hammer the under on this one.
So right now, the Titans are at 9-5, and they're at their third because they're the division leader. And the 49ers are 8-6, and they're in the second wild card spot. So this game is
second.
huge.
Oh, so it's second. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
even better than I thought.
Yeah. They're behind the Rams and the Cardinals. So, yeah. It's very possible that 3 NFC West teams are making the playoffs this year.
That's kind of what we all imagined, though, isn't it? To start the season. Yeah. But I don't think that anyone thought that it was going to be Arizona. I think that people figured it was going to be a combination of the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers.
Yeah, I don't think anybody saw the Cardinals pulling out, 8 straight wins or whatever it was.
Well, they started the season 7-0, and then they've gone, I think 4-5 or 4-3 or something.
4-4.
And 4-4 in the next 8 games, and they haven't
like that. Yeah,
necessarily
we can't do math. It's hard.
Very good. No, but it's weird, right? Because it's the same what they did as last season, when they started off really hot and then they just completely fell off. But you could really attribute that to Kyler Murray's shoulder injury last season, where this year, they have the DeAndre Hopkins injury. They're obviously missing JJ Watt, but they still have most of their team that's, done this damage and they're faltering hard. Like I called it, I think about 4 or 5 weeks ago, somebody's like, "Oh, where do you think the Rams are going to finish?" And I was like, "Well, they're going to win their division." And they're like, "Well, they're 3 games behind the." I think this was just after they lost to Arizona the first time, and I was like, "Oh, well, that's fine. They're gonna beat Arizona in the next game, and Arizona's gonna falter really hard, and they're gonna pass them in the standings." And well, here we are.
So why don't we jump into this other team? I don't know if you know about them a lot. The LA Rams versus Minnesota Vikings.
So I'm familiar with the Rams. Yes.
LA is at -180. Vikings are at +160. I don't know. I feel like Vikings are going to take this one.
Is that bait? Are you baiting me?
Oh, I just feel like they're the better team,
Yeah, that's bait. That's bait.
The Vikings have more to play for. How about that? I'll put it like that. Because the Vikings are in the 7th seed. They're in, they're not going to win their division because Green Bay has already wrapped it up.
Yeah. And
their only way is to get in the wild card. While I feel like, the Rams are coming off a short week where they played on Tuesday. It's a 2-day rest, and then you're back on Thursday. Oh, no. Wait, it's Sunday. Yeah, but it's still a short week. It's shorter than usual. You play on Tuesday and then you're back on Sunday. I just feel like the Vikings are going to be a little bit more rested, that they're going to be a little bit more focused. And that one I could see as, honestly, everybody's thinking about the Rams, but I honestly think that the Vikings could come out and pull this one out.
How? And that's like an honest question. How? Like, is Kirk Cousins going to do it?
Because I don't know. I just feel like that whole team is going to come together.
Dalvin Cook's out on COVID protocol. So I don't know. We got 6 days. No, you won't make it back in time for Sunday.
Yeah, but we saw the LA Rams, Yeah, they put up 20 against the Seahawks, but they definitely should have put up more against the Seahawks. Like, I feel like, the Vikings have a good defense. So I feel like this is one of those games where, it could be a 10-3 game when it comes down to it. Like, that the Vikings could really step up that defense and fluster, Matthew Stafford on the offense, because they're not going to be like the Seahawks where they're, if you're not going to be able to put up 20 points on this Minnesota Vikings defense, I feel like.
Well, the Seahawks are the top, scoring defense in the NFL, despite how much yards they give up. And it was really evident of how much yards they gave up as, the Rams were able to have 6, 7, 8-minute drives that just kept Russell Wilson off the field. I don't think they're going to be able to do that against Minnesota, like you're mentioning. But I do think that, Matthew Stafford, and if you saw today, Cam Akers has been reactivated onto the Rams roster. So lots of options at running back with Darrell Henderson.
He's been out since July. So let's temper our
expectations.
Yes,
yeah, I know. And it's an ACL injury. So he'll probably get like 3 or 4 snaps. I'm just trying to hype up the Rams. But I really don't think they're going to have any problems with Minnesota. Seattle is their kryptonite. You see it in the NFC. Each of these teams, when they play each other, just seems to have some kind of kryptonite against the other team. And that's kind of what we saw on Tuesday night with the Rams and the Seahawks. It should have been 14-17 nothing at halftime for the Rams, but it was 3-3. And, they kind of let Seattle stick around despite this poor play of Russell Wilson, who basically, sank their season in, a couple terrible throws. But no, I'm not worried about the LA Rams in this one. If you're looking to bet here, I'm gonna probably go the over. I like that at minus 200, over at 41. So because I think this will be there'll be some touchdowns.
And one other thing to take into consideration is that the Rams aren't going to have the referees on their side this week.
Oh,
so that should have a little bit of a factor.
Yeah. How did I know that wasn't going to come? Okay, you know what? There was some terrible calls. The PI call, that was brutal. You could see it after. I don't know why they didn't review it from New York because it was within 2 minutes, I believe. So it wasn't a challengeable play, but that one should have been looked at. The PI call by Austin Blythe, they'll call that 50% of the time. Other than that, you got the normal shitty calls in NFL. But that one was bad. But it's not like Seattle didn't have chances to win it, right? It's not like that was the last play of the game. Oh, it pretty much was. And then he kicked the ball, and that sealed the deal for the field goal. Sorry, you're talking to a Rams fan, man.
Yeah,
I'll take the calls. I'll take the calls because more often than not, you don't get them.
You're sitting there like, the Rams can't do anything wrong. What are you talking about? They're the best team in the world.
It's just like me sitting here with the meme.
Okay, so we lost Andy. So what we'll do is we'll jump into the World Juniors quickly here because we'll put some future bets down before the tournament starts.
Prelim games.
First bet.
Prelim games going on right now. Did you watch the Finland and USA one earlier?
Yep. Canada is right now in the first intermission of their preliminary game. I don't want to give off the score in case anybody watching is recording it. But they're doing quite well. So what we'll do is this. There's three futures that you can bet on bet99.com. So remember, the tournament starts on the 26th. So make sure to get these bets in before the 26th because they are going to change after the 26th. So Canada Group A winner at minus 371, Finland at plus 300. Based off of the Finnish team, the way that Canada plays, they're going to win their division. I think that it's, they're just too good. I have some reservations about their right side of their defense, because they have their entire right side is going to be left-handed, their entire left side is going to be left-handed defensemen. Did I get that right? I don't know. They have only left-handed defensemen on the team. So that's my big concern, that they're going to give there's going to be a lot of, I feel like there's going to be a lot of turnovers on the right-hand side in the offensive zone. So we'll watch that. But right now, Germany is not looking too good without Stützle. The Czech Republic is questionable. Austria, they're on the path to potentially elimination. So unless you want to put money on Finland to win that group, Canada is going to win that group, I feel like. What do you think, Josh?
Yeah, I would say Canada is going to win the group. Finland looked surprisingly good today. I was a little bit confused as to why Vancouver Canucks prospect Jani Jarmo didn't make the team, but you watching some of the defensemen, Hyman and Aro, I think it was they were the third pairing, and they looked sharp in an overtime win against the US. I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah, 4-3 overtime win. And when I was watching it too, like, it didn't look like a preliminary game. Like, the intensity...
there were some dirty hits in that game.
Yeah, the intensity was there. There was that one that was called a knee and given a 5-minute major. I didn't really agree with that. I thought that was an okay hit. He kind of got him up high on the thigh, but it was like the intensity was there. I haven't caught much of this Canada game yet, but I think Canada will just kind of tear through their group. Owen Powers is so amazing. Like, I anybody who hasn't seen this kid play, who hasn't watched Michigan hockey, and that's probably a lot of people, just get ready for what he is going to do in this tournament, because it is going to be phenomenal. You're going to be like, oh, wow, Buffalo's going to be really good.
Yes. And a little bit local here, Justin Sordiff, he's on the team. He's playing on the all WHL third line with Ridley Grigg and Jake Neighbors. That should be an interesting line to watch for sure. And then you got, from the BC
Neighbors
division.
Neighbors is rocking the assistant captain, isn't he?
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, and I like that line. I really like that line.
That's going to be a line that you don't think about, but by the end of the tournament, they're each going to have like 8 or 9 points.
Yeah. You mentioned it like as the third line, but I really think that's just how deep Canada is. That could be a top line, but I think the way that the line's constructed, just with sort of and Neighbors, that like that's a 1-2 punch.
Yes.
And I'm really excited to kind of to watch back and see what Canada is doing, because like you said, no spoilers, but Canada fans, you're if you haven't tuned in yet, you probably going to be pretty happy about what you're seeing.
So we're going to go to the group of death. You got US, Russia, Sweden, Slovakia, Switzerland. US is at plus 120. Russia's at plus 200. And then you got Sweden at plus 275. Now in this grouping, I actually think that Sweden is going to come out and win that group. The reason is that their goaltending is probably one of the best in the tournament. I think it's a little bit better than the US, better than Russia. I think it's second to Canada. I really like their power play. Their power play units are all like a lot of our players who have played in the NHL so far. Like William Eklund is going to play a huge part. Alexander Holtz is going to play a huge part on this team. And then their defense is solid. So that's one bet that I would look at if you are going to place a bet down on Group B winner. Sweden, that's who I'm taking. I don't like Russia because they chose not to take two of their best defensemen. They won't say it out loud, but it's because they play in North America, like that. It happens. Yeah, it's obvious. Like you don't pick your two best defensemen, like, and they're playing in North America. And then the U.S., I'm just not 100% sold on the U.S. goaltending because they got two guys who aren't drafted yet, who are 2022 eligible. I think that their forward group is good, but I just have questions about the goaltending.
So I'm just trying to pull up the rosters here. In that group, I do like Sweden with the odds, like that you're getting the best money value for your buck there with Sweden. But Russia, I really like Russia. I know they're not bringing some of their top players, but they got Askarov in net there, and a lot of their players play in the KHL and are used to playing that physical men's style of hockey as opposed to some of these other kids. So I do like Russia in that division, but I'm not going to count out the States because what they have coming in their pipeline, I think it was Jay Fresh who pulled it up on his cards, but like the amount of work that the United States development team has done finding prospects and building to their pool for tournaments like this, like has been staggering. It's passing every other team and it's like lapping them. So be really hard to bet against the US to win the division or to win this to Group B here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. This tournament is so special because it's so short, and it's just one of those things where the tournament's so short. Like, you need every point possible. You can't take games to overtime in the preliminary rounds, especially in this situation where you have three tournament favorites in the same grouping, essentially. So it's going to be interesting because what's going to end up happening is that Canada is going to play probably either Sweden, Russia, or USA. They're probably going to, if they want to go to the finals, they're going to have to play all three teams probably in the knockout round.
Yeah, more or less, because they'll play the. Yeah, no, yeah, they will. They'll have to play.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah, they'll play two in the knockout rounds and then one in the gold medal. So we'll see what happens.
No, and it's been good, and yeah, like you said, things get faced off on Sunday the 26th. I think Finland, Germany, and I mean even Germany.
Well, Germany is a little bit questionable. They can be good. They may surprise like last year, but they don't have the firepower that they had last year. Two of their three best players are not there because they're either aged out or in the NHL. So, and then Seider is another one. So three of their best four players, I guess, won't be there.
Oh, did they not let Seider go?
Nope.
Yeah, I guess. I probably wouldn't let him go either.
I think he's actually aged out of this tournament as well. But if he was like that's a player that could have really helped them. And then, are you taking Canada for the gold, or are you going US? Where are you going with the gold? Whoa. Now Canada's obviously the favorite at plus 125, but you got USA at plus 380, Russia at plus 500, Finland at plus 700, and then plus 740 is Sweden. And then your Germans are plus 8,900.
Okay, well, I'm not taking Germany. I'm not just going to throw my money to no one. But I do like Finland at 700.
I like Sweden. Honestly, I like Sweden at plus 740. The only problem I have is that, like I said, they have to face Canada before they make it to the gold. If they want to get through to the gold medal, Finland is going to be a little bit different. Yeah, because Finland, they're going to have to play. I think that Finland has a better chance to make the final than like a team like Sweden, because Finland will be playing, guys like the Czech Republic or Germany, and then they'll have to face Russia eventually. So it's a little bit easier of a path for Finland. It's one of those tournaments where if you're in Group A, it's actually better to finish second than it is to finish first.
Yep. Yeah. I would agree with that 100%, because like we already talked about, the top three in Group B are all going to be really hard matches going into the knockout stages, and Finland, they're going to probably end up second in Group A without a speed bump or something like that. And could they upset somebody from Group B, whoever finishes, in that counter spot? Yeah, I think so. Move on to the next round. So I kind of like that for Finland. I like the money on them for 700.
Yeah, like Finland is a good team. They have a great goaltending setup, but don't forget, like, Finland beat Russia in the bronze medal game last year. Like, this is a really good team. They finished second to Finland or to Canada in the group stage last year. Their only loss was to Canada. So,
but they had Yanni Jarmo last year.
Did they?
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
Now they don't.
No, they never had Yanni Jarmo last year.
Yeah, he was on the World Juniors last year.
Oh, he wasn't. He definitely was not on the roster last year. He's not, he's not too high on the Finnish pecking order. I'll tell you that.
I'm pretty sure he was on the roster. Well, we'll argue about it off air. I'm not too worried about it now. I'm like, wait,
but yeah, like, Finland is a very good team. So don't be what's the word? Don't be surprised if they make the gold medal game, and it's a Group A versus Group A matchup.
No, I can see that. If I was gonna go predictions, Finland, Canada.
Okay, so any last points, Josh? Do you want to throw out all of your shows and socials before we wrap up here?
I don't know. Do we have time to go through all of my shows and socials?
Yeah, we'll make time just for you.
No, obviously, if you're checking this out, you follow me on Twitter at Joshua Griffith 0. Make sure to do that. Check out the Van Slam podcast, Vancouver's only NBA podcast, to our knowledge, sponsored by the Adelaide Zoo. Got a great update from them today, so happy to share that after Christmas on the new episode. I am also in the starting five for the Point Shot Hockey. Frozen Bill is back, so excited to chat some puck coming up. And then the Unnamed Sports Show on the Sports Talkline Network. Check that out, and all of my Whitecaps coverage when the season gets back going. Oh, and for all you Whitecaps and soccer fans, stay tuned, because there might be a special announcement coming up out of Sports Talkline about some more soccer content. So,
now, are you sure you didn't miss any?
I think I got them all.
You gotta have it like written down on a list at this point.
No, I don't. I have it. I'll try to be a one-take Blake, so I have it all by memory.
So make sure to check out all of the shows on the Area 51 Sports Network. We do wish you all a happy holidays and happy betting.
Yes.
And make sure to enjoy some World Juniors and some NBA basketball in the next couple days. 4 matchups, I believe it is, on Christmas Day. Is that correct?
We got 5.
5 matchups.
5 so as long as everything goes off without a hitch.
You don't even have to move from the couch if you don't want to.
No, it goes from 9 a.m. until 10 p.m. our time, Pacific time. So
sounds like fun. Yeah. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next time on the UFO Show.